Hi, fifth grade. This is just a recap of our math lesson from Wednesday, September 9th. So our agenda for today was to take attendance, review our virtual classroom expectations, take a look at Bridges Day 1, and then review our two assignments for today, one being the second part of our Numbers Corners assessment, and the other being our actual assignment from Bridges today. Both of these use Kami, so please make sure that if you do not know how to use Kami, that you email your homeroom teacher or email Miss Malberg, and we will help you take care of Kami. So of course, remember with our virtual expectations, we want you to stay on topic and be focused, ask and answer questions, and make sure to be an active participant in your learning. Again, just a reminder of our schedule. These are our standards for today. Most of them have to do with determining factors and multiples of numbers and being able to construct arguments and critique the reasoning of others. So our learning goals from today are, I can show how a whole number is a multiple of each of its factors, and I can determine if the answer makes sense by using mental math, estimation, and rounding, things that we should use in our daily lives. So the first thing that we did in our math lesson was we looked at our 5 major vocab words for today's lesson. The first is equation, and that's just a mathematical statement that usually has an equal side. Sometimes there are 2 different things on either side of the equal sign. Sometimes there's one thing with an answer on the other side of the equal sign. But anytime that you have a math statement with an equal sign, you have an equation. And everything on either side of that equal sign should answer the same. So I could have 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 2 obviously equals 4. Or I could have 2 plus 2 equals 3 plus 1. Because both 2 plus 2 and 3 plus 1 equal 4. A factor is a number that divides evenly into another number. So 2 would be a factor of 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 is a factor of 6. A multiple is a number that is a product of a given whole number and any other whole number. So it's basically the answer to a multiplication problem. So 6 is a multiple of 2 because 2 times 3 is 6. When you multiply, you find the product of something. And a product, which is another word for multiple, is the result of multiplying 2 or more numbers together. So those are the words that we'll be using for today. So we took a look at building a community and what our virtual math class should look like and sound like. These are the things that Miss Whitmore's class came up with so that we're not doing anything distracting in our videos. We don't have anything near us that will distract us. We're using slant. I know that's something that the 4th grade teachers talked about, sitting up, being an active listener. You're paying attention with your eyes on the screen and you're following our virtual norms. Our math class should sound like, we should stay on mute so we don't have distracting background noises. We should be on task with our conversations, and we should listen to people working. And we should be respectful of each other's opinions and respectfully disagree. These are the ones that Miss Malberg's homeroom came up with. We had a little more time today to be able to do this. No one's making faces at the camera. Your eyes are on the screen and not someplace else. Your cameras aren't going on and off unless Miss Malberg tells you to. You're keeping yourself on mute when the teacher is talking. You're not eating unless Miss Malberg says okay. You're sitting up and you're ready to learn. You're staying on task and are focused. You're asking questions. You're actively participating. When you raise your hand, you're waiting patiently to be called on. And you're not on a phone or a tablet or watching the TV while we're learning. It sounds like you're keeping yourself on mute when the teacher is talking. You're asking questions. One person is talking when Miss Malberg calls on them, unless she says otherwise. You're respectful of others' opinions and disagree with them respectfully. You only talk when Miss Malberg tells you to. You stay on topic with comments in both the Zoom and the chat, and you're respectful and nice to each other. Then we had an opportunity to play the product game. Now, the product game is a game where one player goes first and says one factor, And then the other person goes and says another factor, and then that person puts an X on the box. And your goal is to get a row, 4 in a row of answers. So if I were to play the number game with myself, I'm player 1, and I'm going to put my marker on 3. And so I will say 3 times, and then if I were player 2, I would put my marker on 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. And then as player 2, I would put my X, and in this case, I'm going to put my marker, I'm going to put my X on 15. Now, if I'm player 1, I want to make sure that player 2, or if I'm player 2, I want to make sure, no, if I'm player 1, try this again, I want to make sure that player 2 doesn't get 4 in a row. So if I'm player 2, I might say that I'm going to choose say I choose 2. Now, if I'm player 1, I'm going to take a look at my board and say, what can I multiply by 2 where the answer will give me something that will block this right here? And if I look here and I go, I could go to 16, I could do 2 times 8, or I could do 8 and I could do 2 times 4. So I'm going to do 2 times 8, and that's going to give me 16. And then I can put my marker right here. So that's blocked. Now, my other place that I might want to block the other person is with 25 or 27, because they can go diagonally this way or down this way. So it's a lot of knowing what you can work with when someone gives you a factor. So we'll play this again tomorrow, and we'll actually try and break out so that you guys can play together. And then we took a look at our assignments. So you had the Number Corners Baseline Assessment Part 2. Oops. You had the Student Book Page 2, and then you have Listen to Chapter 7 of Chasing Vermeer. So if I go quickly and take a look at my assignments for math today, if I go to classwork, and then I scroll down and look at my 3 assignments for today, if I open up my Number Corners Baseline Assessment and I open it up using the PDF, I'm either going to look for Open with Kami with this blue button, purpley button right here, or if that's not there, I'm going to go here with Open with, and Kami should be right here. If you can't find it, you're going to come down here to Connect More Apps, and then you're going to type in Kami, and then you'll see Connect right here, and you'll click that, and then you'll follow a whole bunch of screens that ask you if you want to connect your Google Drive and if you allow things to happen, and make sure that you collect all of those. You're in a K-12 school and you are a student. So make sure that you click this and then follow all the instructions that Kami gives so that you can get started. So I'm going to open with Kami. And then of course it's going to ask me all sorts of questions. So I want to log in. And here's part 2 of our baseline assessment. Now again, remember our T for text box. You put your text box in, you click on the T, you can change the font color, you can change the font size, and then I click where I want my text box. So remember here, I'm asking you greater than, less than, or equal to, compare these fractions. Then you're going to tell me, do you agree with Franklin if he says that 5/8 is less than 6/12 because both of the numbers in 5/8 are less than the numbers in 6/12? So yes, I agree with Franklin, or no, I do not agree with Franklin because, make sure you have a complete sentence. You do not need to include a labeled sketch. I'll show you how to do that later. You don't need to do that right now. On these, you're going to add, subtract, and multiply fractions. If you don't remember how to do it, please write, I don't know. True or false? Does this side equal this side? Okay. If you don't remember how to do this, write, I don't know. So what is 3/10 plus 28/100? And showing your work, just do the best you can with showing your work on here using your numbers and typing. Okay. And then you have some story problems. This one is asking how much taller is Heather than Nina? And remember to label your answer with the correct unit, which are inches. Okay. Do your best showing your work. Okay. Julia bought 6 pieces of ribbon for the art project. Each piece of ribbon is 3/4 of a yard. So your units are yards. You're finding out how much did she buy in all. And then write a multiplication equation. Remember that has an equal sign to represent the problem. So something times something equals something. Here you're filling in the blanks with fractions and decimals. Here you're comparing decimals, so greater than, less than, or equal to. And then here you have a story problem about Dan and his bike race. So you're asking, is that a reasonable estimation? Why or why not? Yes, it's a reasonable estimation. No, it's not a reasonable estimation because. Write an equation and then solve the problem. Do your best again with showing your work. If there's anything on here, remember, because it's a baseline assessment, it's like a pretest. If there's anything on here that you don't understand, you may write, I don't know. That tells Ms. Melberg that she needs to teach it to you, and that's totally okay. When you are all done with this and you want to turn it in, please make sure that you come up here. You're either going to have just the floppy disk that says save or the floppy disk plus turn in. And when you're done, please make sure that you click this so that all your answers pull over to your Google Classroom so that Ms. Melberg can see them. Please make sure that you click this right here. Then go back here to your assignment and make sure that you click turn in when you're done. So you've clicked turned in 2 places. You clicked it on the actual Kami assignment, and then you clicked it right here. Now your other assignment for today is student book page 2. So again, we're going to open it with Kami. And you'll see that there are 30 multiplication problems. Now, Ms. Melberg is not asking you to do all 30 of them. Ms. Melberg is asking you to choose 15, which is half of them, and it does not matter to me which ones you choose. So do 15 of them. You're going to do your text box. You'll click here, and then you'll type in your answer. Okay? And this one, 25 times 4 is 100. So I would just write my answer right there, and then I would move on to my next text box. If you would like to do more than 15, do your first 15 in one color. So say I do it in black. Then do your next 15 or do whatever extra you want in a different color. So I might do it in green, just so Ms. Melberg can see what your first 15 are and then what you chose to do extra. And then I want you to answer this question right here. I want you to tell me why you picked the 15 to solve that you did. So you might say, well, I picked all of the ones where I multiplied by 11 because I know I'm just putting the number twice. Or I picked all of the 10s because I know how to multiply by 10. But tell me your thinking. Why did you pick those 15 problems? Okay? So do 15 of them. If you want to do more, that's fine with me. Just do it in a different color. And then tell me why you picked those 15 problems. I picked my 15 problems because, please make sure that it is a complete sentence. And that was our math lesson for today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email Ms. Melberg, and she can help you answer your questions. Have a wonderful day, my friends.